My boyfriend's sister broke into my house and kidnapped my sister. So I ended her perfect life. For years later, she wants me to convince her family to forgive her. I, 25F, had a boyfriend 4 years ago. Let's call him Ryan. He was sweet, quiet, maybe a little boring, but he felt safe. I'd had a rough family life, mostly raising my little sister, Lily, who was 11 at the time, after our mom passed and our dad spiraled into a ghost of himself. So when I met Ryan, who was kind and soft-spoken, I clung to the calm he brought. Ryan had a sister named Camilla. And Jesus, if you could bottle the essence of Instagram perfection, it would be her. Blonde, blue-eyed, had that annoying type of modest influencer energy. Look at me baking sourdough in a linen dress vibes. She had 200K followers and made #coastalgranddaughter content before it was even a trend. Everyone loved her. Even me, at first. She'd bring me little gifts, lavender oil for stress, handmade soap, fancy notebooks. She asked deep, intrusive questions cloaked in concern. You must feel like a second mom to Lily, right? That's so much for someone your age. Then she'd post a photo of us with a caption like, my new baby sister's smiling face with hearts, #blessed. At first, I thought it was sweet. I thought she just cared. But there was something off. Camilla got way too attached to Lily, too fast. She'd FaceTime her without asking me. Bought her a full new wardrobe just because. I caught her once calling herself Lily's spiritual big sister. And when I set some boundaries, she'd cry. Not argue. Not apologize. Just those manipulative, perfect, influencer tears that made everyone else think I was the villain. Ryan told me to give her grace. She's just expressive, he said. She didn't have a great childhood either. I let it slide. Again. And again. Then came the weirdest thing. Camilla offered to sponsor Lily for an elite mentorship program for gifted girls. Except there was no program. She made a whole fake website. When I called her out, she said she just wanted to create opportunities for Lily and thought I'd be flattered. Ryan defended her. Again. Said Camilla just gets passionate about family. It was my first real red flag. Then came the incident. And nothing, I mean nothing, could have prepared me for what she did. It happened on a Sunday night. I remember because Lily had just come home from her weekend piano lessons, and we were watching Finding Dory for the 100th time, eating popcorn in our pajamas. She had school the next morning, and I was ironing her uniform while she painted my toenails blue with the worst brush control in history. The doorbell rang once. Then twice. I thought it might be Ryan. He'd been weirdly distant that weekend, but I figured maybe he was dropping by to talk. I peeked through the peephole. No one. That's when I noticed the side window cracked open. I never leave that window unlocked. Never. But it was open an inch. Just enough. Lily, stay in the living room, I said. She looked up, concerned, but nodded. Good kid. Always listened. I moved through the hallway slowly, barefoot, holding the iron like a weapon. I rounded the corner into the kitchen and there she was. Camilla. In my goddamn house. Wearing all black. Her hair tied up. Like some unhinged Disney villain trying to cosplay as a ninja. She froze when she saw me, like a deer caught with its antlers in a power outlet. What the hell are you doing here? I said. Her face twisted. She smiled. Shoo, she whispered. I don't want to scare Lily. I lost it. Screamed at her to get out, lunged forward, but she darted past me. Fast. Too fast. I ran after her, but by the time I made it back to the living room, Lily was gone. Gone. The front door swung wide open. Camilla had taken her. I couldn't breathe. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it was cracking my ribs open. I tore out into the street barefoot, screaming Lily's name. Neighbors came outside. Someone called 911. I was hysterical. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. The police showed up in under 10 minutes. They took my statement. I told them everything, Camilla, the weird mentorship thing, The fake program, the obsession. They asked if I had any reason to believe Camilla would hurt Lily. And that's when I realized. Camilla didn't think she was hurting her. She thought she was rescuing her. Within the hour, a bolo was issued. A detective interviewed me. And Ryan? Ryan didn't pick up his phone. Not the first time. Not the third. Not the 10th. I called him 32 times. Left voicemails. Texts. Nothing. And then, finally, a text from him at 2:14 a.m. Camilla's with Lily. She's safe. Don't call the cops. Too late. Asshole. Turns out he knew. He knew. He'd helped her pick the damn lock. They thought they were intervening. That I was a toxic maternal figure and Lily needed a more stable home environment. I found out later that Camilla had been keeping a secret case file on me, screenshots, photos of my messy living room, copies of Lily's grades, like AB in science was abuse, voice recordings taken without my knowledge. She had framed me like I was unfit. Like I was dangerous. Ryan went with her willingly. They took Lily to some Airbnb an hour out of town, dressed it up like a retreat, posted stories on her private Instagram account. Blessed to spend time with this precious soul Dizzy with a picture of Lily making pancakes. The police found them 36 hours later. They brought Lily out wrapped in a blanket. She was scared. Confused. Said Camilla kept telling her I didn't love her the right way. That I was too broken to be her guardian. Camilla was arrested on the spot. Ryan tried to interfere and got handcuffed too. I held Lily so tight I thought I'd break her ribs. She whispered, "She said you were going to give me away." I nearly vomited. The thing with people like Camilla is, they build their lives like houses made of glass, pristine, shiny, and totally see-through if you look close enough. But most people don't. They see the glossy posts, the polished captions, the hashtag blessed life filtered to oblivion. They don't question what's behind it. They don't want to. Until the police knock on the front door. Camilla was charged with breaking and entering, kidnapping a minor, unlawful surveillance, and child endangerment. Ryan was initially charged as an accessory, but cut a deal when he agreed to testify. The spineless bastard cried during the deposition. Cried. Said he thought they were just helping Lily escape a toxic environment. His exact words. Like I was some kind of villain. And Camilla? She pled not guilty. Sat in court with that same innocent influencer face, wearing soft pastels like she thought the judge would be swayed by her goddamn color palette. She brought a notebook and kept journaling in cursive like she was in a live Tumblr stream of her own trial. The DA didn't hold back. They played audio from the bug she'd planted in our home. I had no idea how invasive she'd been. Microphones under the coffee table, a hidden nanny cam behind our bookshelf. She had hours of footage. Hours of me brushing Lily's hair, us fighting about bedtime, me crying on the couch. Stuff every real family goes through. But she twisted it all to look like neglect. Abuse, even. The prosecution shredded her. They showed her private case file on me. She'd been documenting my social media for years. Highlighting posts where I mentioned anxiety. Copying Lily's artwork from our fridge into some twisted, emotional development tracker. It was all sick. Delusional. But that wasn't even the worst part. The emails were. Camilla had emailed private schools claiming she was Lily's guardian. She'd been trying to get custody months before the kidnapping, laying groundwork, forging documents. She submitted forged letters from me saying I was overwhelmed and wanted to surrender guardianship. She even used our mother's obituary to say Lily had no stable home. And she'd done it all behind my back, while still buying Lily gifts, smiling at me, commenting, "Cutest family," under my Instagram photos. Her parents were devastated. Camilla had always been their golden child, the perfect daughter, the image of success. Their family's reputation in their suburb was everything. Her dad's a professor, her mom runs a charity. And suddenly, their daughter was that woman on the local news. Her mugshot spread across Reddit, Twitter, even got reposted on a true crime TikTok account. Her followers dropped by 70% in a week. She lost every brand deal. Influencer agencies dropped her like a hot potato. The coastal aesthetic became a joke. Someone made a meme of her crying in court with the caption, "When your kidnapping doesn't go viral." But the worst part? Her own family turned on her. They showed up for the first 2 hearings, then stopped. I later found out her mother wrote me a letter, a handwritten one, apologizing for not seeing the signs and for letting Camilla insert herself too deeply into your life. They cut off financial support, told her she'd never be welcome in their home again until she fully acknowledged what she did. She didn't. She kept saying, "I was saving her." The judge gave her 5 years. No parole for 3. Ryan got probation, a restraining order, and moved away. Last I heard, he was doing construction somewhere in Nevada, trying to start over. As for me and Lily, it took a long time to rebuild. She started therapy. I started sleeping again. Slowly, we moved to a new place, changed our numbers, cut ties with everyone from that mess of a past. The media frenzy died down. Eventually. But we never forgot. It's funny how justice is supposed to end in the courtroom. The gavel slams, someone goes to jail, and that's it, right? Story over. But that's not how this works. Not when someone dismantles your entire life and then smiles for a camera like it's content. Not when the people who believed in her perfect angel narrative are still out there, quietly wondering if you overreacted. I wanted the truth seen, so I made sure it was. 3 weeks after the sentencing, I reached out to a local investigative reporter. She'd covered Camilla's arrest, but only in basic legal terms. I told her I had everything: the emails, the forged documents, the surveillance files, even the screenshots of her Instagram DMs where she bragged about fixing a broken home. The reporter was stunned. She asked if I wanted to be anonymous. I said hell no. The article dropped a month later. Headline: The Instagram Saint Who Kidnapped Her Way to Fame. It detailed everything: Camilla's obsession, the manipulation, the fantasy mentorship program. That was nothing but a smokescreen. They included side-by-side images of her posts with captions like "Healing her heart one cupcake at a time, sparkling heart," next to actual court transcripts about her planting audio bugs in a child's bedroom. It went viral. People were horrified. Other influencers who'd once collaborated with her issued statements distancing themselves. Brands that still had photos of her products quietly deleted them. Even her high school drama teacher, I'm not kidding, wrote a comment on the article saying, "Camilla always did have a hard time telling the difference between reality and performance." And Lily? She smiled when she saw the headline. I let her read the article first. She looked up at me and said, "So now they know she lied?" I nodded. Now they all know. Camilla's fall from grace wasn't quiet. It was loud. Messy. A social media train wreck. There were memes, TikToks, reaction videos. Her face, once glowing behind a $700 ring light, was now plastered across videos titled "The Dark Side of Influencer Culture" and "Instagram Narcissist Kidnaps Child for Clout." My favorite part? Someone made a parody account that recreated her old aesthetic, the flowers, the soft lighting, the quotes, but made them all about prison. Stuff like, "Gratitude is the key to healing tulip. Day 143. Still no conditioner." I shouldn't have laughed. But I did. A lot. And while Camilla's world collapsed, mine slowly rebuilt. I filed for a permanent restraining order, and it was granted. Her lawyer tried to contest it in case of future reconciliation, which made me want to throw a chair. We also sued her for emotional distress, which she tried to fight but ultimately had no resources to contest. We won a small settlement, not much, but enough to cover Lily's therapy bills and a security system for our new home. But here's the kicker. At sentencing, the judge gave me a chance to speak. I didn't plan a speech. I didn't rehearse. I just looked at Camilla, sitting there in her beige jail-issued uniform, hair tied back, face stripped of filters, and I said, You took my sister from me. You made her question whether I loved her. And you did it while pretending to care. That's what makes you dangerous. Not the lies, but the mask. And now the world knows who you really are. She didn't cry. She didn't look angry. She looked empty. Like for the first time in her life, no one believed the illusion. For years. That's how long it had been since Camilla was sentenced. Since I last saw her face in court, blotchy and bare, stripped of every filter she used to hide behind. Since Lily and I packed up our lives and moved across state lines to start over. We'd healed, mostly. Lily was in high school now, thriving. Straight-A student, plays cello, got into horseback riding of all things. I still don't know how we afford it, but we do. I've been working remotely for a nonprofit, and we live in a little craftsman home with creaky floors and sun-drenched windows. We're safe, quiet, untouched by her. Until last month. I opened my inbox and saw an email from a burner account. No subject. Just one line in the body. It's Camilla. I need your help. I stared at it for 10 full minutes before I could even blink. My stomach turned. I almost deleted it. Almost. But curiosity? It's a nasty little drug. I responded, only one word. Why? What came next still doesn't feel real. She said she was out. Early release for good behavior. Apparently, her lawyers managed to shave off 6 months from her sentence with some rehabilitation program that teaches inmates yoga and mindfulness. What a joke! Then she dropped the bomb. I need you to talk to my parents. They still won't speak to me. They won't even let me see my niece or nephews. My whole family turned their back on me. I thought maybe if you told them I was better, they'd listen. I laughed out loud. Literally laughed. Alone in my kitchen with a mug of tea in my hand. This woman kidnapped my little sister. Gaslit us. Tried to erase me as Lily's guardian. Faked documents. Framed me as unstable. And now she wanted me to rebuild her family relationships? I didn't respond at first. I forwarded the email to my lawyer, just in case. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. Couldn't stop wondering what nerve it takes, what delusion it requires, to reach out like that. Like we were former friends who just drifted apart. A week later, she emailed again. Longer this time. She said she'd been working on herself, that therapy in prison had changed her, that she now sees how she projected her childhood trauma onto me and Lily. She even had the audacity to write, "You've always been strong. I admired that about you. I think that's why I was so jealous." Jealous? She tried to steal my sister, and she wants to call it jealousy? She said she hadn't spoken to Ryan in years. I call bullshit. That she's living in transitional housing. That her social media following is gone, but she wants to work with at-risk youth and tell her story. She asked me to vouch for her character so she can volunteer at a local church program. I didn't know whether to scream or cry. Instead, I wrote this. Camilla, you didn't just hurt me. You didn't just manipulate a child. You took trust, something Lily had in me, and shattered it. She had nightmares for a year. She flinches when people call her special now. You didn't save her. You stole her. I won't speak to your parents. I won't help you rebuild the image you burned to ash. I won't give you another child to play savior with. Stay the hell away from me. Stay away from Lily. And don't ever mistake my silence for forgiveness. I hit send and blocked the address. And I cried, not because I felt bad for her, no. I cried because for the first time in years, I finally, fully said what I needed to say. Not in court. Not on the news. But to her. She reached out one more time, sent a letter to my work. My boss handed it to me, unopened. I tore it up without reading it.